All right, we're going to try this again, y'all, part two, because the other one decided it wanted a buffer. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be live today. We're just going to record it out and we're going to drop it out. So, that's what we're going to do. So, back to what people were talking about. The live part did record partially, so you can go back to that if you want to watch it. Okay, so you're dealing with an ex that, how long ago was it? You said 2 years ago?
Met with him March 11th of 2018, and I left him in June of 2020.
March, April. So, okay, 2 years and 2 years. So, you just recently got rid of this past boyfriend.
Yeah,
Okay, so now you got a new boyfriend. Cause June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 6 months ago. How long have you been with the new boyfriend?
since October 27th.
So you've been with him for 2 months, and now y'all taking a break already.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tell you that getting rid of the past is really just a lesson you're gonna have to learn from it. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm saying that is domestic, you can't change the past. Nothing you can do um, is gonna let you change the past. You can't change the situations
Mm-hmm.
that you were already in. Um, but what you can do is you can learn from those, and you can kind of move forward. Because I mean, when you're dealing with exes that like to hit women, a lot of times what we tend to have, especially growing up in foster cares or growing up in, especially when we don't have like fathers in our raising us, we end up
Mm-hmm.
dealing with things that a father would do. So we end up dealing with men who will chastise us or put their
Mm-hmm.
hands on us because it's fatherly. We tend to look at at our men as a father. And it's sad that, but it's like that. Women who are not raised in a two-parent household or do not have a father legitimately have daddy issues, where we crave. All little
Mm-hmm.
girls crave a daddy, all of them. I used to
Oh
tell my
yeah.
husband all the time. I used to say, "You ain't my daddy. Stop treating me like I'm your child." But it all boiled down to me when I actually started doing a lot of research about it and trying to understand why things were going the way that they were. Is that that's what we look for, and that's really what one of
Mm-hmm.
men's roles is to let a man teach us. The issue, though,
Mm-hmm.
the issue with what we tend to do is we we always make the same mistakes. We always tend to look for the same type of man. Our what
Mm-hmm.
we're attracted to, it doesn't seem to change, even though that we're tired of dealing with it. I've actually made videos about before you move in with the man or before you get into relationships with the man. Um, you really have to know what it is to be a woman, or like in a relationship. Like I want to say what it is to be a wife, but you're not a wife, so we tend to act like a wife, even though they
Mm-hmm.
haven't given us the title of a wife. We tend
Mm-hmm.
to let men, us women, we tend to be independent and single, and we tend to have our own houses and our own apartments or whatever. And then we tend to let the men move in and take over our house, even though we're really not ready for them to be the head of our household because we don't
Right.
understand that. It's hard to
Mm-hmm.
understand what it is if you don't understand what a man is, what his roles and responsibilities are, or if you don't understand what your role as a woman is. It's gonna be really hard. I mean, you might. It's gonna make it hard in a relationship, and I don't know what. Tell me this, what, and you can be honest. I mean, if you don't mind being
Mm-hmm.
honest. Or with putting out that information, what is it that actually causes you to get into arguments?
Most of the time, like with the guy now, it's disagreeing on certain things. Like our biggest one is um like he wants to go hang out with his friends and play video games and not really spend time here, like visiting with me, or and I I'm not gonna lie, I get jealous because it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be your girl, and you rather go play video games or go chill at your friend's house or this and that, and not spend time with me.
Okay, so it sounds like you crave attention, with most women do. Does he have a job?
Not right now, no,
Okay, so he's
because of the COVID.
okay. So he doesn't have a job because of COVID, or he doesn't have a job because he's just doesn't want. He
No, he
has the
doesn't have
opportunity.
one because of COVID.
Okay, what does he do for a living?
He's been working at McDonald's.
How old is he?
Don't shoot me, but he's 19. Don't shoot me, I say it.
Wait a minute. You got a baby in the house. Not your kids. I'm talking about him. So I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
like I told my daughter's boyfriend. My
Mhm.
daughter's boyfriend is my age. I'm 36. She's
Mhm.
21. When they started dating, he was 35 because he's a year older than me. Almost like he's like a little less than a year older than me. So he's like 10 months older than me. So I turned
Mhm.
36 this year. He's gonna turn no, he's gonna turn 38 this year. No, he's gonna turn 37. That's right. He's gonna turn. My best friend turns
Mhm.
38. So, like I told him, you gonna catch it when you dealing with a young woman, because she was 19 at the time. Not only that, but she's a 19-year-old female.
Mhm.
Does he have a, is he was he raised in a two-parent household?
Yes.
So he has a mom and a dad
Mhm.
all his life.
Mhm.
And is his dad a decent person, or is his dad straight out of jail?
No, that's a decent person.
Okay. So he knows better. So I'm not even gonna say anything about him working at McDonald's and being 19, because that's about what he probably should be doing at that age. Is he
Mhm.
trying to go to college? Is he trying to get a trade? Like, what does he want to be when he grows up?
Mhm. I He hasn't really talked to me about that, so I don't really know what he really wants to do.
So it's really common for kids, and I'm calling him a kid because I have an adopted daughter that's 21. So
Mhm.
to me, he's. I'm not gonna say, my husband tells me to stop calling him a child. Well, stop calling kids that age a child, because when they turn 18, they're adults. But
Mhm.
to us, they're still jits. They're still kids to
Yeah.
us. They're still little. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not knocking that at all, because age is really nothing but a number. Um,
Mhm.
it's really about the maturity level. So you're arguing about attention, but
Mhm.
a man that age doesn't really know how to give any attention but to his friends. That's what they do in
Mhm.
school. They hang out, they go play games. He hasn't even hit the maturity level that he's at, where he's like, oh, I can take care of a family. He can't take care of himself. Does he have his own house?
No, he
No.
stays with his dad.
He stays with his dad. Does he has a job, but so there's no reason he shouldn't be able to work at McDonald's because of COVID. Because I literally just came out of McDonald's earlier. Well, not no, it was Burger King, but McDonald's was open. So
Mhm.
is he? What is
Well,
he?
they did a new building down here, and a lot of people, like with all the COVID and stuff, got laid off a little bit.
Mm, okay, so they
So
downsized. So he
yeah.
probably needs to find him something different if they're gonna do that, because that's McDonald's and they don't give anybody hours anyways. Um,
Right.
they really don't. And on top of that, they laid off a lot of people, probably also because they've raised the minimum wage, especially here in Florida. And I know across the nation, they've raised the minimum wage to $10 an hour. So it's only like $2, but it does add up. When you start adding people
Yeah.
and adding hours together. Um, you're gonna be a lot more mature than he is, Brandy. And I hate to say that, but it is what it is. He's super young, um,
Mhm.
and you're gonna end up sunning him because a man. There's two things a man has to be and has to be able to do, and that's to provide and to protect. If he can't take
Mhm.
care of him, he cannot take care of you. And if he
Right.
was sitting next to you, I would show tell him that. That's just that's what it is. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of a woman,
Mhm.
and you definitely can't take care of a woman that has children. He's not in the position to be able to do that. So
Right.
going back to letting go of the past, um, there's not you're the only way you're really gonna be able to get over is you're gonna have to spend time with by yourself. Um,
Right.
domestic violence really comes down to what kind of person that you have, and when you're looking for somebody um, that can't really support themselves, or that what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily that can't support themselves, but a person that young, you're gonna argue with them because
Mhm.
you have so much more experience than he has. Like he's
Mhm.
right out of high school. He's what been out of high school for what, a year,
Mhm.
or if not just graduated. So he's right out of high school. Like that school is full of kids, a bunch of kids. So he hasn't even like where did you meet him?
He was a friend of mine's friend.
Okay, a friend of yours friend. Okay.
Mhm.
Um. Okay, so yours is just a mutual friend. Okay. Um.
Mhm.
And I really the only really honestly when it comes to dealing with people who like verbally abuse you, or domestic violence, it's something that you just eventually just have to just be like, all right, that happened to me, but I'm not gonna let it, because I've came out of that.
Mhm.
You know, I was always a feisty little thing. I was always a fighter, and
There ain't no lie.
I always fought back. But it didn't mean that I didn't have to deal with that myself.
Mhm.
With my high school boyfriend, I had to deal with stuff like that because there just was things I wasn't gonna tolerate. I wasn't gonna
Right.
tolerate it. And so if I got in, and if he decided he wanted to try to control me, I didn't feel like he had the merits enough to control me or even have anything to say to me. So if we got into an argument and he's at my house, you don't live with me, but you at my house, and you want to get into an argument, kind of the same thing that you're going
Mhm.
through. But at the time, we were actually 18 and 19 years old.
Mhm.
Wanting to go out all the time, wanting to hang out all the time. It's something that kids do. But when your mentality, because I've always had a little bit more of a higher maturity level. When I want to stay home
Mhm.
and I want to do what I'm supposed to do, and you want to go play, it is gonna cause an issue. It's gonna cause a big
Yeah.
issue because it's gonna, you want them to be mature, but you can't control other people. You're not gonna be able
Right.
to control what they're doing. If he's going and playing video game, I just did a video on that, on being in a relationship with a gamer.
Mhm.
He's not mature enough to be in a relationship, um, an actual true I can take care of a woman relationship. He's just too young for that.
Mhm.
I I
Right.
warned I warned my daughters. I warned her boyfriend about it. And he's always coming to me and my husband. He's always like, hey, you know what? She's doing this. I tried to tell you. She's young.
Mhm.
The part of your brain that makes judgment calls doesn't even develop until you're 24, 25. So he's going to be
Yeah.
doing some really stupid stuff because he's going to have to live and he's going to have to learn just like you did.
Right.
When you're in argument, the arguments that was in your past, you just have to learn from those. You just have to say, you know what? That's not how I want to handle problems. And when you're dating someone new, Um, you can't say, I'm not going to tolerate arguing with you, because you have to accept the fact that a man is coming to you guys are going to be in a relationship, and he's going to be over you as the head of the household. And if that's going to be the situation, you don't want someone that's so young that you have to son them, or you have to tell them what to do, because they have absolutely no idea what to do. They have no idea what to do. All they're going to do is you know, I don't want to do that. I'm so worried to do that. I turned off my desktop audio, but I'm thinking that'll be okay. I think that'll be okay. I don't want it to make like double noises. It'll echo. But
Yeah.
it's really hard, honestly, when you're dealing with previous relationships, because it causes you not to trust the new person. You think that this person is going to be doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have definitely learned is that we can control that. And we can control that by controlling the people we get into relationships with. Sometimes we just don't want to be alone, so we end up, you know, getting with people and we just tolerate things. But then we sit back and we're just upset about it. We just sit back and we're just, you know, really sad because now this person is, they're not doing what you need them to do.
Yeah.
We have to control that. We have to be able to, and it's easier for me to say because I've dealt with it, and I've been through it, and I've gotten through it, and so it's easier for me to say that it's easier for me to say that this is what we can do. I don't know the new boyfriend. Now, I will say that there are some young people that are really, really mature. But listening to what you're saying, and you're saying he's going and he's playing video games with his friends, and I mean, he doesn't live with you. Does he live with you?
No.
So he doesn't live with you. So you're gonna expect. You should just go ahead and just expect him to act like a teenage boy, because he's still a teenager, and want to go play video games and want to hang out with friends, and may not pay very much attention to responsibilities as far as the household, because he's not looking at that as his responsibility. That's your house is not his responsibility. And especially Brandy, especially kids nowadays, they just don't learn the responsibilities of what it is to take care of a house. They don't understand it. They have to be taught that these are the things they have to do. I mean, so these past relationships, you were with this person for 2 years. Why did you break up? Was it the domestic violence and I just can't handle it? What was it?
Yeah. Yeah, because it got to the point that he wanted something that I told him from the beginning that I didn't want, and I don't mind sharing it. Honestly, he wanted a threesome, and I'm not the type of person, I don't do that. And so it made him mad, and like it went from 0 to 100. And what really made me not want to be with him anymore and leave him is he got mad enough that he flipped one of the futon couch that we had in our living room, and it almost hit my daughter. So that was my cue of, okay, it's not safe anymore. I need to leave.
You guys live together?
Yeah.
How old was he?
He's 38.
Does he work?
No, he was on disability.
How is he disabled?
Psychotic.
Really, that's his disability?
Yes.
Okay, so psychotic is not a disability, so it is a depression? Bipolar?
I don't know exactly what it is. All his paperwork said psychotic, so I'm not sure exactly what he had.
Okay, because that's a big fat red flag. Did he get that when you guys were together or before you were together?
That was before we got together, but he never showed any of it until after like 6 months of being with him.
That's common. That's definitely common. But yeah, his disability, him being psychologically disabled, um, it makes sense why he would not be able to control his anger. Is he on medication? Or is he just freeballing it?
No,
He's
just
not
for
on
balling it.
medication?
No, he should be, but he stopped taking it.
And they didn't take his disability for that?
Nope.
Hmm. Okay. Do you work?
Not right now because of my son and his health issues.
Okay. How's he doing tonight, too,
But
by the way?
he's doing all right. He's in there getting ready to eat some pork chops. So.
Does he, did he actually have pneumonia, or is that diagnosis, or is that just something you said is common for him?
No, it was a diagnosis. Last year around this time, it was like a few weeks before his birthday, we ended up being in Kansas City at Children's Mercy because he had flu A, B, and then he had pneumonia and bronchitis. So his lungs when he was born was not really fully developed, and they
Oh, okay.
didn't know that.
Okay. And do you
Because
smoke?
no,
Okay.
whenever I was pregnant, and I gave birth to him, both of us died. They had to bring both of us back.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
yeah. So that's my last one. That's my baby.
I can understand that. Where's their dad?
um, my son's father lives in St. Louis. Has never been around, and my daughter's father actually lives right here in Marshall and has nothing to do with her.
Do I know him?
Maybe I don't know.
I'm scared to ask. I am scared to ask that one. So you have okay. So but you have only two children, and okay,
Mhm.
and you. So, and how old are you? Because I know you're a couple years younger than I am. I'm 36, so that would probably make you 33 or 34.
33. I'll be 34 in April.
Okay, I thought so. I got a good memory. Um, so I'm gonna tell you, there's not much you only thing you're gonna be able to learn about the past from the ex-boyfriend is to learn from the
Mhm.
situation itself. You're gonna have to learn how to get what men to pay attention to and what men to avoid. Now you said that he didn't really show signs. Where was he
Mhm.
working when you met him?
He wasn't.
That's a big fat sign because he can't
Big
take care of
fat one, yeah.
himself.
But I wasn't.
Where was he living?
Yeah. In Brunswick.
With who?
It was just him and his kids. He has 3 kids.
So he lived. Okay, so he wasn't working, but he lived in a trailer, or a house trailer by himself
Mhm.
with kids. How was he taking care of
Mhm.
them?
He did fine with them. I mean,
So I would
he
have
made sure the
questioned
bills
that.
and uh-huh.
I would have questioned that. Um, how are you taking care of these kids? You don't have a job, and that would have forced him to have to tell you about the disability. So I mean, you don't want to get all like rude about it, but the thing is,
Mhm.
we're older women. We're not in our
Mhm.
20s anymore. And I mean, I've been married for 14 years. So I don't have to try to find men, but I have women that ask me these questions. What men can I look for? How do I find a good man? And
Mhm.
these are questions I actually answer a lot. And one of them is, and I'll say this again, men that cannot take care of themselves cannot take care of you. And when
Mhm.
you're looking at a man and they don't have stability. So if they don't have a job that's stable, they're not going to be able
Mhm.
to take care of you. The number one reason for divorce, do you know what it is? Or breakups?
No.
It's finances. The
Okay.
number one reason people divorce is because they fight and argue about finances. they can't, or there's not enough money, or you're not getting a job, or whatever it is, it's always about finances. So that should automatically be in your mind, like, okay, if he's not working, and I'm all about paying bills, making sure my bills is make sure that I have a roof over my head, make sure that my kids are eating, make sure that I can take my kids somewhere. Maybe I have a car, make sure I have gas in it. If that's your mentality and you're thinking about those things, but he's not, or he's not stable with what he's doing, it's a red flag that goes up. Like, okay, well, it's no offense to you, Mr. So and so, but if you can barely take care of you, you're not going to be able to take care of me and add 2 kids to it, because I have 2 children,
Right.
And that's something when you're looking for somebody that you have to take into consideration, because Brandy, I'm just going to say, you're almost 34 years old. That 19-year-old, what's his name?
I don't want to say his name.
Well, what's the letter of his first name?
K.
K. So if K can't hardly take care of himself, he's not going to be able to man up and take care of you. And this is what's going to end up happening, is eventually he's going to start being a man. But if you're in a relationship and you're older woman and you know how to run things, and then you're down here running this, and you're running the household, and you're acting like, you're making decisions and stuff like that, because he's not. Eventually, when it's time for him to step up, it's going to be really hard for you to step down, because you don't really have any reason to respect him on that kind of a level, because he's not taking care of you. He's not taking care of the house. He's going out, he's partying, or he's playing video games, or he's hanging out with friends, or he's just not doing men stuff. He's still acting like a little boy, and you'll never respect him as a man until he's being a man for a while. Then you might start having respect for him. This is the problem. Time is not waiting for anybody. And this whole time now he's 19, so you got about 5 or 6 years until he actually hits that discernment part where he can actually make good judgment calls. You're talking 5 years. Then you're talking a couple more years of him to actually act like a man. So you're talking 7 years before he actually does what he's supposed to be doing, so that you can actually respect him as a man. That's a long time, and you're going to do this. You're going to butt heads all day long. When you're looking for a man, women will respect a man that they look up to. If a woman sees a man and he's just a peon, or he's just a little boy, if he acts like a little boy, you're going to treat him like a little boy. And then y'all are going to be fighting, you're going to be arguing. So it's not even about letting go of the past, because letting go is, when you think about the word forgive, you let it go. That's literally how you forgive someone, is you just let it go. You're not going to forget about it, but you just forgive, you just let it go. You're not going to be able to do anything about the past, but the only thing that you're not going to be able to change it, but you can change the relationships that you get into. You can change that part. So things that you guys would argue about, you can change that by making sure you're finding somebody who is a provider, who's a protector, who is stable, who has leadership qualities. A man that comes into your house and just instantly is like, hey, I know this is your house, but I'm gonna show you how to run it like a man. That's a man for you. And a man that can fix things, a man that can fix things up, a man who's an asset to a household is a man you will respect. If you have a man that, I hate it when y'all do that. You don't have to crawl on the floor. I don't care that they're seen in the videos as long as they're not loud. Like, they crawl on the floor. But I respect that, because they're respecting mommy, so I'm good with that. See, Darian gets it. But you're not going to respect him. Like, it's not even about the fact that your past is becoming a part of your relationships. It's that you're repeating the same type of behavior. Now, the man was older. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, he's older, so, I had a bad relationship with him, he acted this way. And then you go get someone really, really young, and we're all born ignorant. So,
Right.
ignorant means a lack of knowledge. That's it. It's a lack of intel. We can be ignorant about all kinds of things. Hey, hey, don't forget who your mama is.
Woo!
I will get them on camera. I don't, I have to. So, anyways, um, um, what was I saying? I was saying, so the man you get, he's younger, but he's ignorant. And I'm not saying that
Mm-hmm.
he's ignorant like he's stupid, because ignorance and stupid are definitely different. Stupidity is when you know something and you do it anyways. When you know it's going to be
Right.
something bad, you do it anyways. Ignorance is when you just don't know and something happens to you. You were just ignorant to it, but now you know, so you're not ignorant anymore. That's why sometimes they say ignorance is bliss, because it's better not to know it and do it than to know that you're doing it and do it anyways. Because that's literally the
Right.
difference between ignorance and stupidity.
Right.
So he's going to be ignorant to a lot of things. He's going to be ignorant on how to take care of you and your children. He's going to be ignorant. There's nothing he don't know how to do that. He's living
Mm-hmm.
with his dad. His dad's been taking care of him. He works at McDonald's. What does he do with his money?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. What does he do with his money? Does he save it?
Right.
Does he go buy a video game with it? Does he buy the newest controller? Does he think about, I'm gonna save money for a PS5, or is he thinking, hey, okay, I get paid, we're gonna do this with this, I gotta pay your light bill? He's not gonna think like that because he's a kid.
Right.
So it's really, really honestly, when you're letting go of the past, it's really about knowing that it existed, knowing what is
Mm-hmm.
there, and knowing why it was there, and then fixing that. A lot of women, though, Brandy, they don't do that. A lot of
Right.
women, and I hate to say it because women are emotional creatures, we base everything off of our feelings. What we end up
Mm-hmm.
doing is we break up with this one because we're sick and tired of this one, and then we get the same one that's doing the same stuff and think they're going to be different because it's a different person. But they're
Mm-hmm.
not. They're showing the same red flags. A man that's not going to work whether you're there or not, they're not going to work whether you're there or not. A man who's not going to
Right.
provide for you when you're not there, he's not going to provide for you when you are there. You just have to look for these things. Like, you
Okay.
guys are on a break, but who broke up with who?
He broke up with me.
For what? Did he tell you why?
He said he needed time and space to think about everything.
Hmm. That's interesting that he says that.
But he, and I have messages that I can, send to you so you can see it too. That he promises that he's going to always be there. He's not gonna walk out on my kids. He's gonna be here for me, and that eventually he wants to be back together, but he just needs time.
But he just doesn't want you hounding him and expecting him to be a
Yeah.
man when he's not ready to be a man.
Yeah.
That sounds like that is exactly what he's saying. I don't want
Yeah.
you, I'm tired of you trying to make time for you when you're not my responsibility. He's
Right.
a kid. I mean, he's gonna think like that because people, these kids, and they don't understand what a relationship is. They think that, because this is definitely the hookup culture. So they got these ideas that, well, I can just, we can just hook up and, we can do our little thing, and then, until the next day you can be gone. They don't care.
Mhm.
And that's men and
Right.
women. They don't care. Look how many girls go around in the school, and they done had every man in there. It ain't hardly any men that ain't been with that girl.
Right.
That this is the hookup culture. You have um you have men that do the same thing. They're going around, they done
Right.
had sex with everybody under the sun, and it's the hookup culture. They don't understand what the whole point of. I did a video probably about a month and a half ago, and it was my 12-year-old son, and I asked him, what's the point of dating? My 12-year-old can tell you it's to see if I want to marry you. My
Oh,
12 year
wow.
old. My 12-year-old can tell you that. And I asked him
Wow.
on video, I said, what's the point of dating? Because the video was about should 12-year-olds be able to date? I don't let my kids date. So I asked
Mhm.
him, I said, well, should 12-year-olds be able to date? And so my question to him was, well, what's the point of dating? Why do you want to date anyways? What's the point of dating? And so he said,
Mhm.
no, there's no point of me dating because dating is me trying to find out if you're marriage material or do I want to marry you? And he's very, 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 very right.
Right.
That's the problem is people do not understand what dating is for.
Mhm.
I mean, we're traditional. There's a lot of modern women. They're just like, oh, because they're in this hookup culture. But
Mhm.
traditionally speaking, traditions are safe when you're doing things kind of old school. It's safe
Mhm.
because it's organized. So
Right.
when you're with somebody, the idea is to see, are they marriage material? Do I want to marry them? I mean,
Right.
you have went through. How old is your oldest child? Just it's a girl. How old is she?
She's 10.
So she's 10. Then you have the 7, almost 8-year old, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you haven't had children in 7 years. Okay, but now you're in now you're in relationships. Do you want any more children?
I I honestly don't know because of with my health issues of after my son was born, I don't know.
Okay, I can understand that. I can understand that. I definitely understand that. But a man that ends up marrying you may want kids.
Yeah.
So when you look for someone and that man tells you I want kids and you don't really know if you want kids, that's something you guys have to be on the same page about. You
Right.
men are I told you that women are emotional creatures. We all in our feelings.
Mhm.
That's why men can look at us and they might want to be with us or they might like something about us. And then they can whisper in our little ears about how cute we are and how nice we are. And we're like, oh my God.
Right.
Now we in a relationship with them and they ain't worth squat. The sad thing is I don't know Kay at all. I don't know him. So I can't judge him accordingly because I don't know him like that. I'm really pretty good at judgment of character, but
Mhm.
I've never seen him. I don't see how he acts. I don't see how he,
Mhm.
I can't really judge him. I'm really just going off of being, generally speaking, of a general 19-year-old. Um,
Right.
but he definitely is gonna have to grow up. If he's gonna continue a relationship with you, and you think that
Mhm.
you want to be in a relationship with him, you have to really ask yourself: Is he really gonna get angry enough to hit me? Is he gonna emotionally abuse me like was in my past? Did you pick
Right.
somebody who cannot handle their own emotions or that cannot handle their own problems? Like, how does he deal with it? Does he get angry quickly? He argues. You guys argue, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that can be a form of if you guys are calling each other names or that can be a form of emotional or psychological abuse um, because it tears each other you tearing each other down. A woman you want to be a woman wants to be a man's piece.
Right.
That can be really difficult sometimes whenever you're dealing with a man who is very tyrannical.
Mhm.
Tyrannical meaning you're gonna do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it, and that's just what it's gonna be. And it's really hard to be with a tyrant. Hitler was a tyrant because people end up getting hurt.
Mhm.
Um, so the best way, to let go of your past is, just learn from it because you can't change it. You can look at it and because
Right.
I know we're all traumatized in some sense by things that have happened to us. Um,
Mhm.
but if we allow certain things that we've been traumatized by to affect us,
Mhm.
then we're always going to be in the same spot. We can't move forward. It's
Right.
like quicksand. It's going to continue to hold us and hinder us and keep us in one spot. We ain't going nowhere. We're not going
Right.
nowhere. We're not doing anything. Um, it's just we're just gonna be stuck. So
Right.
you don't have children from the man from your previous boyfriend that's for 2 years. You said he harasses you.
Huh?
You said he harasses you. The ex
Say
boy.
that one more time.
You
Sorry.
said the ex boyfriend harasses you.
Yeah. I mean, I blocked I don't know how many numbers because he keeps trying to get a hold of me
And you don't have any ties
like,
because you guys
when-
you don't have
this
children.
is how bad it is. He left me. No.
He
Like,
left
he
you.
left me and got with my biological sister.
That's tacky. But he's still haunting. But he's still harassing you. Are they still together?
So far that I know of, I really don't talk to him, so I don't know for sure.
That was real disloyal on her part. Did she know you guys were dating? I mean, you guys were together for 2
Yeah.
years. That's real disloyal. I wish my sister would try some stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and see, right. And I didn't know, like, I knew of her and I know her, but I didn't know that she was my biological sister until a year ago. Because I'm still trying to find all my family, you know.
Oh, okay, okay. That makes sense. So you guys aren't really that close. I get that. Okay. So she really doesn't. Okay, I get that. It's still disgusting on his part because he knew.
Right.
The thing is that someone who is not getting control and wants it will go to any measure to get it. Narcissists, they tend to make up stuff. They tend to live in a fantasy world, and they tend to do things that they tend to do things that, you know, make you look like you're a bad person when really it's like they play the victim a lot. You know, they do stuff to you and then turn around and make it seem like you did something so wrong to them.
Right.
He's gonna have to stop harassing you, and I don't know how it makes you feel when he's doing that.
I'm scared to death.
Why are you? Tell me why you're scared.
Because I know how he can get, and
Mm-hmm.
on Halloween, him and my sister said that they were going to come to Marshall, because they only live 2 hours and 13 minutes away from us, but him and my sister said that they were going to come to Marshall and take my kids. So, you know, and with knowing how angry he gets and what his temper is like, is why I'm so scared of him.
Do I know this man?
No.
So what you could do is you don't have shared children, so you could get a restraining order to keep him from being able to call you, text you. You can actually do that to protect yourself. The sad thing about restraining orders and no contact orders is you can't call the police until they're right there next to you. Until they actually violate it, then you can call. There's so much crazy stuff that goes into them no contact orders. Sometimes I feel like they're just a waste of time. They just seem to be a waste of time. They're pointless. Even though, you know, they'll tell you, oh no, you know, you should get one. You should get one. No, they're really just a waste of time. You're gonna have to protect yourself against that, though. You're gonna have to. And the thing is, and this goes back to your current man. I had to learn this myself. In a previous relationship where I was scared of my ex, and my husband said, "Wait a minute, you're scared of him, and I'm standing right here. Like, do you not believe I can protect you?" Well, see, I've never had anybody that actually protected me. I've always had to defend myself. I never had anybody that stood up for me.
Yeah.
You know, I've never had nobody like that. So for my husband to be like, wait a minute, you don't think I'm going to stand up for you? You think I'm just going to let this man just do whatever? And so it took a while.
Right.
It can be really traumatizing, and a lot of people don't understand that. But I remember one day that I was dropping his sister off, my husband's sister off somewhere. My husband was with me, and I saw my ex, and my ex actually tried. I was driving. He actually started walking towards me, and my husband jumped out of that car so fast, and he didn't even have to say anything. You know, just the fact that he got out and just stood there, like, are you really gonna even try that? Like, then he just walked. He just did a U-turn and just walked completely away. And it's hard to trust when you've never had it before. But the thing is, if you get a man, if you're looking for a man and you get a man who you do not believe will protect you, you're gonna harbor that feeling of being unsafe all the time. So if you're with a man who, if y'all are together, you have to worry about him getting beat up by your ex because he's not going to protect you. Sometimes we have to think about that rather than catering to our feelings, because there's men out here, Brandy, that'll make us feel really good about ourselves. They will. And us women who resort to our feelings love to feel so special. We love to feel like, you know, oh, I love you. You so sexy, girl. You know, we love to hear stuff like that. Girl, you so pretty. I like your hair. We love to hear our men tell us that. But when men are just telling us that, we can't fall victim to that. I have women tell me. I had a girl. One of my friends we were talking about stuff like this the other day, and we were talking about women being too friendly. Well, I learned how to carry myself differently. Men do not walk up to me and do that. They don't just walk up to me and be like, "Hey, sexy." It's just I don't know if it's a look I have on my face or if it's how I carry myself. Like, they don't. They used to. They used to do stuff like that, and I had to stop being so smiley all the time. And you know, because the second that you all smiley and stuff, I was just listening to a video about being feminine, and they say, well, if you want to be really feminine, you smile a lot. Well, the thing is, when you smile a lot, femininity draws masculinity. So any man that's masculine, they see a feminine woman, you smiling all the time, they're going to want to talk to you. So it kind of forces us women sometimes to not smile not be all smiley all the time, because then men's going to want to talk to us. Well, the thing is, when we're picking a new man, when we're looking for a new man, we have to look for all kind of red flags. We have to look for things like that. And I'm not going to tell you to judge a book by its cover, because I know there's plenty of men who look really scrawny, but they're black belts. So you don't want to judge so quickly, but you definitely want somebody you can feel safe with. Because a couple of my exes was abusive, but I don't feel unsafe when my husband's standing next to me. I don't even feel unsafe when he's not around, because I know that they know that they're not going to mess with me, because they know how my husband is. My husband is not going to play about his wife, and he's not going to play about his kids. That's how it is. Right. My husband doesn't romp around beating up people. I mean, he's not one of them people that we don't go partying, we don't go clubbing, we don't do stuff like that. So you would say, well, how do people know that he's going to be like that? It's how my husband carries himself. So when you picking somebody, you don't want to pick no little kid that ain't going to be able to protect you. That's going to cause a problem. I don't know how you really feel about this new guy, Kay, but it's going to pose a problem. And watch, you're gonna be like, yeah, you was right. You're gonna look. It's gonna pose a problem, because as much as he might make you feel good, he can't give you what you need as a woman. He can't give it to you. I don't know how he is with fighting. I don't know if he can protect you. I don't know if people are gonna take him serious. I don't know that, because I don't know him like that. But You have to ask yourself, can he protect me? Can he provide for me? Not even with you providing for yourself, but can he provide for you? And there's 5 ways a man can provide for you. 5 of them: financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So
Right.
providing for you financially is like, getting a job, going, money and stuff like that. Physically is like your affection. Affection really plays into psychological and emotional and physical, because it has to do with the physics. But then you're dealing with sexual, which is physical. You're dealing with, the emotional part of it. How does he make you feel good? Does he make you, feel like everything's going to be okay? Does he provide security for you? Like, can he protect you? Does he make you feel safe? So there's your emotions and your psychological again. How does he make you feel? And then spiritually is more or less when he can actually take in knowledge from somewhere, whether it's biblical, or whether it's just knowing how a woman is or knowing how things work. Can he go take that and go do research, go learn things, and be able to bring that back and teach you and your kids, so that you guys can function as a unity? Those are things that men provide for. And if you're asking that, well, can he protect me? Can he provide for me? Is he stable? You have to ask you have to ask yourself these questions. And it's sad, because there might be, I mean, my kids make me feel good, but I wouldn't want to date one of them, even though they weren't my kids. I was a substitute teacher, and I mentor to a lot of kids. And there's a lot of young boys that used to make me feel good. Hey, Miss Williams, you so pretty today. That don't mean nothing to me. It feels good because it's coming from the kids, and the kids respect you. You're my favorite substitute, and oh, y'all better not play with Miss Williams. That makes you feel good, because you know that you're making the kids feel good. But that doesn't play in my mind like, oh, I can have a relationship with this person. For one, I'm married, so I don't even think like that. But if I wasn't married, I'm not gonna think like that, because they can't provide those things for me. They can't provide for me.
Right.
They ain't finna protect me. They're not stable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to think about these things, even with Kay. You're 19 years old. You're a kid. You living with your dad? Okay, you working at you on layoff, but you work at McDonald's. Where are you going? Even though you might be a decent kid, even though you might be a respectable kid, right now he does not need to be worrying about taking care of no woman and some kids, because he can't take care of himself.
Right.
He needs to take care. He needs to go. I told my kids, I said, before I let you even think about dating women, I want my children to have their own apartment. I want them to pay their own bills. I want them to have their own trade. I don't believe in college, so I ain't with all that college stuff. A trade, something that they can make a career out of, owning your own business, something like that. I need my kids to take care of themselves. And that ain't calling mommy and daddy every month talking about the light bill finna be cut off. No, baby. When they can take care of themselves, then they can take care of a woman.
Right.
But you can't bring that stuff from the past. From the past, like I said, you just have to learn from that. You have to, when you're letting go of the past, you just kind of have to say, you know what, this happened, but this is how I'm going to fix it. I'm just going to pay attention to the new person in my life, because this person has to be able to take care of me as a man. When it comes to a man looking for a woman, it's a whole different story. A man looking for a woman has to look for a woman that is teachable, a woman that's an asset, a woman that's feminine, a woman that she may not know how to cook, but she'll learn how to cook. She wants to be able to cook. She understands her role. She knows what it means to be submissive. She knows what it means to conform to authority. You can't even conform to Kay, because he's not an authority figure. You have to look at him as an authority figure to be able to conform to his ways. Imagine, you know what conforming means. So conforming is like molding. It's like you adapt to his ways. Imagine if you stopped your life and adapted to him right now.
Right.
Where would you be?
Yeah. Not wear a mask.
sitting on a sofa playing a video game,
Yep.
bringing him a soda because he's too busy playing it, and he probably plays Call of Duty or GTA.
Fortnite.
Oh my God, that's even worse. Fortnite, the never-ending games.
Yep. Yeah.
And you'd be bringing him dinner. You would be bringing him drinks because he's not going to stop that game to get up and get it himself.
Right.
So, and I'm telling you this because it's only going to cause you stress and heartache because you're going to feel like you have a teenager in your house. He's a man, so he's going to be rebellious. He's going to be
Right.
defiant because he's going to start this, well, I'm the man. Because all men have that idea, especially because he got a daddy. So he knows
Right.
he's supposed to be a leader. He knows he's supposed to be the head of the household, but he don't know how to do that. He don't know how to do that.
Right.
That's why y'all arguing. Because you know you want him to be able to spend time with you, but he can't. He doesn't feel like he's obligated to spend that much time with you or be at your house that much because he's a kid. He's a kid.
Right.
So that's where you're really gonna run into an issue with him, and I'm telling you that because he's young. I don't know him, so I
Right.
can't judge him off his maturity level, but he's young. How does he
Right.
How does he talk? Like what does he talk about when you guys have conversations? What does he talk about?
I mean, for him being 19, he actually talks a lot. Like, he helps me out in some certain ways, some certain situations,
Such as
and like, such as like, okay, say for instance, I'm getting frustrated at one of my kids.
mm-hmm.
You know, he'll sit there and he'll actually be like, hey, why don't you sit down and think, how could you do this different, or how could you handle this different? Like, to be honest, he is a little more mature than most 19-year-olds.
Okay, so we'll give him 2 years because he got a daddy. That's why he's doing
Right.
it because he got a daddy. A daddy brings to a little girl. He brings the ability to learn how to control your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
He'll bring stability. Most little girls will have more sense when they have a dad in their life because their dad has taught them how to deal with different things. And he kind of brings the same thing to boys, but he brings it a little bit different.
Yeah.
When a little boy has a father to mock or to model after, he's gonna want to be just like his dad. And I'm gonna give you a really crazy example. When my middle son was like 2, he used to come up to me and he used to try to kiss me. And I'm not talking about kiss me like mommy kiss me. He tried to mock exactly what his dad was doing. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Exactly what my husband was doing. He would try to mock it. Everything he would do
wow.
to a T. As he's getting older, he disciplines like dad does. He tromps around the house like dad does. He tries to run stuff like dad does. Boys will try to mock. Hello, how you doing? Boys will try to mock.
That's my auntie.
Oh, hey. Boys will try to mock exactly what their dad is doing. Like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to mock exactly what he's doing. So that's why he can do it because he's learned a little bit about logic. He's trying to put 2 and 2 together. And boys that's been around dads, they can do that. So he's not as childish as a woman that is raised as a single mom that's raising a boy. For instance, your son. You're gonna need to get your son around a masculine, decent male energy, or he's gonna start doing girl stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not.
This is what you're doing, and this is what I want you to do.
Oh, she's not talking to me. Okay. Like I'm not saying he's gonna start putting makeup on or anything like that. But my adopted daughter has a 2-year-old, and he's actually. They might have moved him, but he was laying right there on my sofa. he I told my daughter, I said, look, you're gonna have to bring him over to my house a lot more. He spends 98% of his time here anyways, but when he's with his mom, he has an older sister, he has an aunt that's about their age, his mom, his her real mom, so it's a bunch of girls. There's no male energy like that over there. So he comes back playing tea parties and, stealing her glitter and putting it on his face. In this house, there's no girls. I'm it. I am the only female in this house. Yes, I'm it. I have all boys in this house. I have me and my husband. It's my husband. We have 3 boys. There's a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, and then I have my 2-year-old grandbaby. So.
Oh, wow.
You got to get them around masculine energy and have a masculine role model so that when they grow up, they're not missing out on missing a dad. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to, even though right now it's not something that you can control, but he has to be around a male figure that can teach him how to do things boys do. Because women can't teach boys how to lead like girls. Women can, that's what they'll do. They'll teach, because how men lead and how women lead are 2 different ways. And you don't want to teach your boy how to lead like a girl, because it's very emotional. It's very direct. It's sometimes our leading can be very micromanaged, very thoughtless. Men tend to think on a logical level. They try to, put things in a certain way. And you want your son to be able to learn how to lead like a man. So you're actually gonna want to consider that. I mean, do you have any males in your house other than him?
Just my uncle.
Okay, so there's a male figure that he can mock after. But you're gonna want to have that. And when you get boyfriends, you're gonna have to look for that too, because you don't want to get a boyfriend that's going to teach your son or your daughter things you don't agree with, and they try to do that. They'll try to come in and try to, I'm gonna do this, and you want a man that you can look up to. I'm not gonna say superior. I don't want to be like he's your superior, but when you marry a man, he's your superior, because he's your head. He's the leader in your house. He's the one that you follow. He's the one that you do things after. But you don't.
Also your protector. You're under that authority.
Yep.
So.
Is she talking to me?
Huh?
Was she talking to me? I didn't hear her.
No, she said he's also your protection because I'm under the authority.
Right. That's why I was saying you want a man who can protect you. Provide, protect, and you want to have stability. But when you're getting someone that is, when you're getting someone who you can't really look up to, like, I don't know how you would be able to look up to Kay, because he's so young. He doesn't have near the amount of experience with relationships, with kids, as you have. Does he have siblings?
Yes.
How many?
One brother and the rest are like 3 sisters.
So he grew up in a 5-family household. 5 with 5 kids. So I don't know how. Is he the youngest, or what number of child is he?
He's the youngest.
Ha! Even worse.
He is the youngest of the 2 that lived in his house. The other ones lived in a separate house.
Yeah, he's the youngest of the 2 that lived in his house, but the other ones lived in a separate house.
But what number is he from all his siblings?
The baby.
Of all of them? So all 5 of them, he's the baby.
Yep.
Actually, there's 6.
Yeah. Actually, there's 6, but 1 passed. So.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I don't know how well you're going to be able to look up to him. He's 19.
Probably not well at all.
My mentality is a little bit. My husband is 41, so my husband's older than me. And I'm not gonna lie. When I first met my husband, because I was taught to be an independent, strong woman who took care of myself, to be self-sufficient, to not have to rely on a man. I was never taught in Butterfield how to be a wife. Never.
Right.
I was never taught. I was never taught how to do those things. And so when I first got with my husband, we married 11 months after we got together. I had no idea what true marriage was. I had no idea what it meant to be a wife. I know now, which is why I can educate other women about it, but I had no idea what went into a true marriage. Marriage is not just two people hooking up and being like, hey, you know what? I think we've been together long enough. Let's just get married. No, that's not what it is. It's not that whatsoever. You can have a marriage inside of a relationship, but you cannot have, no, let me back up. You can have a relationship inside of a marriage, but you cannot have a marriage inside of a relationship. Does that make sense? You can have a relationship with your marriage, with your husband and wife. But when you're in a relationship, you can't just say I'm married. It don't work like that. You don't get to be married for, so many years and be like, I'm just going to call myself common law marriage. I don't want to hear that. You're either married or you're not. Marriage is a contractual agreement, if you want to look at it like that. But a relationship is so much more. And when I got into it, I gave my husband a hard time because I was so stuck on being boss. Because I always I have my own house, I have my own car, I have my own job, I took care of myself. Everything I had, I got by myself. And I've always been like that. I've always stood tall when it came to that. And I did not know how to back down and be a wife. Because when that's what you have to do. When a man that you respect comes into your house, even if you're running your house, you want a man who you can respect and conform to his authority, or he's going to feel like an intruder. He's going to feel like, who is you coming in my house telling me what to do? A man should never move in with a woman, ever. Because I'm telling you, women are emotional. That what they're going to do, as soon as that man says something you don't like or tries to actually be a man, women's going to be like, this is my house. You ain't finna tell me what to do.
Right.
Okay? Now, a woman should move in with a man, because then there goes again with submission. A man does not conform to women. A woman is conforming to a man. So when you have this relationship with this 19-year-old, it's going to be extreme. Like I just said, it's going to be real hard to conform to his authority, because right now he's not an authority figure. And if you were to conform to his ways, you would be sitting on a sofa playing a video game.
Right.
So you have to, and it's sad because even though they make us feel good and they talk great about us and we really, really like them, you really have to ask yourself, is this person someone who can lead me? Is he someone I can respect? Or like I said in the beginning of this video, you're going to end up repeating the same behaviors as before.
Oh, yeah. Damn it. Darn it. Sorry.
It's fine. You're going to end up repeating the same situation. And you gotta look for, I don't know, is this one psychotic? Is he disabled? And I hate to say it like that, but is he?
Not yet.
Not yet? Not yet?
No. That was my auntie's answer. Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. And so it takes. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
He's got depression issues. So.
The new one?
No. Yeah.
That's a problem.
Right, I picked them, don't I? I know how to pick them, huh?
I see that. He has
I need to come
depression.
down your way.
Huh? What'd you say?
I said I need to come down your way.
Come on. That answer ain't gonna change. There's terrible men down here too. You gotta just know what to pick. You really have to learn. But you know what? You know what, Brandy? If nobody's there to teach it to us, we won't know. We won't know. We won't understand if nobody's there to tell us how to pick a man or what to look for in a man. Me and my husband was having a conversation about women who choose. The conversation was, do women choose to be single women, single moms? And it's kind of a touchy subject because you say, well, no, women don't choose to be single moms. But look, you have to look at it like this. You chose the man you had a child with. So when you're choosing a man and you lay up with a man and you have a baby from that man, that's when you chose to be a single mom, especially if it's a man you never married. If that man was never marriage material enough, he should have never been baby daddy material enough. And that's when women choose to be single moms, because look at the two you have. Where are they?
Right.
They're what we would call deadbeats. They're nowhere. They're absent parents. And so that's when we run into these situations. So when we're taught how to actually pick them, even though our feelings tell us this is such a great person, I really like this person, this person can't take care of you. This person, and you know what? This would be a really good conversation for your friend to come on so that I can talk to him about what he needs to do to make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and so that he can learn. Or he can just go watch my video about Are You Marriage Material? Either way.
I think I'm going to make him watch the video.
You can do that. Make him watch that, because I'm going to tell him in a heartbeat. Get ready to lead. If you're not ready to lead, if you're not ready to provide, if you can't take care of yourself, you need to stop worrying about getting girlfriends and worry about you need to get yourself together.
Right.
Get yourself together. You know, as women, we rely on our men. We depend on them. And as women, we may very well, you know, get our own house and get our own jobs and be able to take care of ourselves. But when a man comes into our lives, we have to know how to back down and let him lead. If he won't step up and lead, that's not the one for you.
Right.
So that's what you're gonna have to, and you're gonna run into some issues. While Kay learns the things he needs to learn, y'all are gonna argue about it. Because even the information I'm telling you, you may go back and try to tell him, and he's not going to take it well because it's coming from a woman. And the thing is, it's coming from a woman, even though it's true information, he's not going to take it well. You know, he's not going to take it at all very well. But the thing is, he needs to hear it. He needs to get it together. And that ex of yours, you gotta stop him from playing with you. And the thing is that my husband had to teach me is you have to stop being scared of people. And the thing is, people will treat you the exact way you allow them to treat you. People will do to you what you allow them to do. If people feel that they can act ghetto around you, when they get around you, they're gonna act ghetto.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, when people come around me, they tend to stop acting out of character, all ghetto and weird and out. They tend to stop doing that because I don't carry myself like that. So they'll stop. And if you allow people to be disrespectful to you, they're going to disrespect you. They're going to be rude to you. If you tolerate a man to hit you or to physically abuse you, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it. There's a speaker named Umar Johnson. I don't know if you've heard of Umar Johnson. Have you heard? You've heard of Umar? So Umar Johnson said that if a woman ever leaves and comes back, if she ever says she's going to leave and she never leaves, you're teaching that man that you just talk. You're just gonna run your mouth. You're just talking. But when you actually stick to it, when you actually say, you know, I'm not tolerating this, and you actually do what you say you're gonna do, you're teaching that man that, mark your word, you will follow through with what you said. And you don't have to say, well, I'll punch you in your face and then walk up to him and punch him in his face. No, I ain't talking about doing that. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, when if he hits you and you say, look, if you hit me, I'm gone. If he hits you, be gone. If not, he's just going to keep doing it, and he's going to keep thinking that it's okay for you to do that. Your ex, as long as he feels like he has some form of connection to you, like when he calls, if you talk to him, or if when he calls, you act like it's okay that you called, then he's going to keep doing it, and he's going to keep harassing you. There's no reason for him to call you.
When he calls.
You don't what?
I don't answer when he calls.
So why does he think he can keep calling you?
Because in the past we would like break up and whatnot, and then we would give each other time or whatever, and then he would be pretty much I would take him right back. But
and how many?
That was my last.
How many weeks was it before you took him back?
The one before we actually just like officially broke up, it was for like 3 weeks.
October, November, December. So it's been 2 months, so that's like 8 weeks. Give or take. So that's really not a lot of time if you really think about it. That's not a lot. It's definitely not a lot of time that you're giving yourself to be single. And especially if you're trying to kind of let go of that specific situation.
Yeah.
It's probably just best for you that if you feel, you know, that you just focus on yourself.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if you got into a relationship with this new one because you were feeling lonely, because that's common for women to do.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was. So.
That sounds like, you made a decision, and you guys have been together for, let me see, I think I wrote it down. How long have you and Kay been together?
Since October 27th.
Okay, yeah, I did write it down. You've been together for 8 weeks. You broke up with the other man in June. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So 6 months. Okay, that's what it is. So the ex, you've been without him for 6 months, and you've been with Kay for 2 months, right? Okay.
Yep.
But June, July, August, September, October. So 4 months after you broke up, you got a new boyfriend. Yeah. It's and it sounds like you're lonely, and sometimes we can. That's very, very common for women, to be honest. Have you ever heard the saying that women get over men? Women will bawl their eyes out for the first 2 weeks about a man and then be over with it. Men do the opposite. They don't care for the first 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden they want to harass you all day long. Have you ever heard that before?
Yep.
It's true. So it sounds like that's what he's doing, especially when he went and got with your sister. That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
That's super weird. Like, that's gross. That's like, like I would never want him back.
Oh,
Really?
I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I don't.
But I can understand. It could be really hard because you guys were in a relationship for 2 years. literally, and I have a video about this. It doesn't take that long to find out if a person is marriage material, and 2 years is like the max. It's
Yeah.
the max. If you're with somebody for 2 years and you haven't married them, you don't need to be with them. You just need to let go of them, because you just get married. If you're going to be together that long, you're dating for 2 years. There's people that has been engaged for 3 years.
Right.
Get married already.
Right.
Like, seriously, just get married. And it's obvious that he's not marriage material. Especially being psychotic. On disability for being psychotic, I would be very concerned. And it also worries me that he has custody of his kids being psychotic.
Right.
That kind of his baby mom must be on drugs or something, because he wouldn't have won that case with no disability. And you got psychosis, or you are psychotic. What is he, schizophrenic? No, he'd have lost that case. I'd have had my kids. There ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Right.
But so let me ask you this: do you actually want to be in a relationship with the new boyfriend, Kay?
Honestly,
And you don't.
I
will not judge you at all. Just tell me what. Just be honest.
like, honestly, I thought I did, but with everything going on and everything, it's like, I enjoy his company. I enjoy him being around. I enjoy, him playing with the kids and everything, but I think it's time that I really need to just focus on me and the kids.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He might be a really great person, as he might be a really good friend, or how you'll have mentors that like to play with your kids or something, he might be one of those, or um somebody your kids can look up to as big brother or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, and like I said, I don't know him. I can't judge him accordingly, because I can't observe him at all. I don't see what he's doing.
Right.
I can't confirm how he's acting to really be able to say, well, he has potential or not.
Right.
But the thing is, if you want to avoid the same stuff that's happened in the past, well, let me stop there. Let me ask you this. Why did you and your first boyfriend or baby's father, why did you guys break up? Same thing?
No, we never.
You never
me
dated?
And my daughter's never together.
Okay. What about the your son's father?
Never together.
Okay, so, well, what about your past relationships? What about the boy? Did you have a boyfriend before? Not Kay, but not the ex, but the one, any other boyfriends before that?
I had two. One of them.
Wait a minute.
One of them.
You
one
was
of them
recently
was
with a
that-
light skin. You had him on Facebook. That's what you talking about, the ex? I thought y'all was gonna get married.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one that.
The ex. Okay, gotcha.
That's that's the 2-year one.
It just dawned on me who you were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
okay, what about the
I had-
previous?
I had 2 boyfriends before I got with the one that I was with for 2 years.
Okay.
And one of those was an on and off, all the time. We never really argued, but there's a few times we got mad at each other, and it got to the point that I was so mad, I wanted to punch him, but I never did. But I wanted to, and then come to find out, he was talking to another girl, or going to another girl, while at the same time he was with me. And then I got to the point that enough was enough, and I wasn't going to deal with it, wasn't going to be around it anymore. So I ended up breaking it off from him, and he ended up marrying the girl that he was going back and forth between us.
It makes you wonder why he did that. But you didn't. Did you have children during that time?
Yeah, I had both. I had both of mine.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give you this truth. Men have a very difficult time being a stepdaddy.
Mhm.
It's a truth. It's a sad truth. But it's gonna take a very mature man to be able to handle that. The man before that, how old was he?
The very first one, that was when I was in my 20s, and he was like 2 years younger than me. I had Terry at 24, and I started dating him 6 months after I had Terry. So he was like 22. So he
Okay.
was 2 years younger than me.
So he still hadn't hit that point where his mind is making good decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the next one?
That one, he was 36, and I was 26. So he's 10 years older than me.
Okay, what happened with that relationship?
He cheated.
Wow. Like, So, how long were y'all together before he did that, before he cheated?
Not very long. Like, that one was an on and off.
So he didn't
because,
take you serious, okay.
Yeah.
That's it's very sad, and I'm already seeing a pattern. They don't think like stable men. They don't. The men you're getting are not thinking like real men think. Real men don't think. A man that's focused on his household, who is put together, who knows that, okay, I'm going to be the leader of this house and I'm going to take care of this house. They're not thinking about adding someone to the bill, which is cheating. They're not going to be thinking about stuff like that. They're too busy doing this. So a lot of times, I don't know where you're meeting them or where you're like knowing them. Are they just mutual friends? Then you're just learning.
Yeah.
So you're meeting them from mutual people. And these mutual people are sending you these people, and you're getting to know these people, and you're seeing the side that they want you to see. Until then you get in the midst of them, and then that little nicey nice phase, and it wears off, and you know, those men don't think like mature men. The man that is now take it, all my daughter's boyfriends have all been way too old for her. Way too old. I don't know what kind of person you were at the age of 26, but a man that's 10 years older than you, it makes me question his motive. What did he do for a living?
He did like lawn care and help fixing houses.
Okay, so he did he own his own business, or did he just do side jobs?
No, he worked with a friend of his, so it was like their business, but it wasn't just his. It was him and his friend that.
I'm gonna ask you this: did he make good money?
No.
Okay.
It seems like with all of the relationships, and this is what I've been thinking about, and like it's been heavy on my mind, is out of all the relationships, it was me taking care of everything and taking care of them.
Because the man, the 36-year-old who wasn't making good money, that weighs on a man as it is. If he's not making good money, it means he's probably barely taking care of himself. Did he have his own house or did he live with somebody?
He lived with his business partner.
He can't take care of himself. He's
Right.
roommating at 36. You're too old to be rooming with anybody. At the age of 36, if you're doing side jobs, you're supposed to have, even if it's an apartment, you're supposed to have your own stuff. So that's a red flag. That's a red flag right there. When you're meeting these men, if this man cannot take care of himself, he cannot take care of you. And you will always have to be pulling the weight. And I'm going to tell you something about men. In a man's mind, they know they're supposed to be doing better. They know they're supposed to be, they know they're supposed to be on point. They know they're supposed to be taking care of their girlfriend. They know that. They know they're supposed to be leaders. They know they're supposed to be heads. They know they're supposed to be providers. And then they get with these girls, and then the thing is, let's say this 36-year-old man got with you. You're 26-year-old, 26 years old. So he's not making that much money. And so you're kind of figuring out and you probably end up saying, you need to make a little bit more money. You probably start saying that because when you start getting with somebody, you start to see things, the flaws in them, things that they're not doing. Well, once you start saying, you might need to get, be making a little bit more money, or you're putting pressure on him, and they can't. When you have a man who can't handle that, they start finding women who will boost their ego. And because a lot of us women won't tolerate a man acting like that. Like, why are you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you might start questioning a man like, hey, you got me in your life, but you can't take care of me, or you can't afford me. And I hate to say it like that, but I'm not talking about a man having to make $5,000 and $6,000 a month, but even to be able to on a bottom level, you can't even afford to halfway take care of yourself. And so they start to realize that. So then they start going with these women who don't know their situation and will boost their ego, because all the women are worried about is, oh, you got your own business. Oh, men love to say that whenever they're out here. I work for myself. I don't work for nobody. A woman instantly, there goes her little feelings. She's instantly like, oh, you got your own business. Once they start figuring it out, so they'll go cheat. They'll go, do a little thing, because these girls out here boosting their egos and stuff. You don't want a man like that, and that seems to be common in the situations you're dealing with. Is these men cannot take care of you. They can't. They can't even take care of themselves.
Right.
So these are red flags that you have to be like, hey, you know what? And don't get me wrong. It's not even that they can't take care of themselves, but you can tell when a man may not have a job, but is really trying to get a job. He's actually like, you'd be like, what do you do with your spare time? If I asked you that for a man, and you'd be like, all this man do is try to look for a job. So you might not hold him not having a job against him, because all this man is doing all day long is trying to find him a job, trying to find work, trying to do something. Okay, we get that. But this man, even though that's all he's doing, he does not need to add another expense, which is women and children. And he doesn't need another expense. He needs to be able to take care of himself before he can start adding women to the picture. Yeah, you cool and stuff. We can, we can hang out or something like that, but I'm not dating you. You can't, I can't have you in my life. You can't take care of yourself. If you want to date a woman like me, you have to get yourself together, because if you don't do that, it's just gonna be a headache. And you're gonna be sitting back at nighttime crying, wondering like, what the heck did I do wrong? When you really haven't done anything wrong but pick a bad guy.
Right.
He might be the nicest thing in the world too.
Right, and I do think that sometimes. I was like, even down with having my kids and everything, it's like, I ask myself, like, where did I go wrong? I love my kids, and they are my blessings. I will never, say anything negative to anybody about, my situation with my kids. But I will talk to somebody about the negativeness of where did I go wrong, or what am I doing wrong, or why can't I be happy? That is what.
Well, I've learned happiness does have to come within yourself. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, you're going to constantly be looking for things to make you happy, and not everything in the world is
Mhm.
going to make you happy. So, and
Right.
look, I understand about the kids because, look, even though the situation is the way that it is, you can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is learn from it. That's why if you want to you're letting the past go, you just learn from it. You forgive the past, you forgive yourself
Mhm.
for allowing things to happen, and then you learn from it. You take that experience and you're like, "Yep, I'm not doing that again." And you learn from it. You literally learn. I learned that
Right.
there's a book I have that I'm reading called I think it's called Million Dollar Mind. And it's a book and it talks about financial blueprint. Where as a kid, we will actually put in, we will actually create our financial blueprint. And as we get older, we will live by that financial blueprint. So I found that I never complete anything. I'm like, I'm doing all these things, but I never actually complete anything. So after I read the book, I realized, oh, okay. So now that I'm aware of it, I change it. So you have to be aware of the things that you're doing that's wrong, and then you have to change it. You have to fix it because I'm trying to think how that saying goes. That if you do the same thing and expect a different result, you're insane. I think that's how it goes. That's insanity. You know, it's insanity to think that you can keep doing the same thing and get a different result. So it's the same thing with getting a man. If you're getting a man that's doing the same things as the previous man, you can't expect him to be any different. Men are aggressive people. It's masculine to be aggressive. It's masculine to be controlling. It's masculine. Those are masculine traits. So when a man is losing control and he gets frustrated, that's him being masculine. But he has to learn how to. He has to learn how to be able to handle himself. Is he making faces behind me?
No, he just walked by.
He will. That's the stupid goofy one. He's tall. That was the tall one. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
He thinks he's so cute because he's 15. He's not cute. Don't let him think that. I've caught pictures on my phone where he's flexing and he's got his all thing. Get off my phone. Because I don't let my kids have cell phones. I don't trust them with the cell phones and stuff. So they'll get my phone to take a picture and then they be flexing and, you know, get off my dirt phone. But yeah, anyway, so you have to be aware of that. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. That's the only way you're gonna change it. That's the only way you're gonna be like, okay, I did this. I'm gonna learn from it. Like I'm not even gonna make you or even ask you to say what really happened with the two the baby's fathers, but just know what happened and don't you can't make that mistake again. Or you will end up with another child and not in a relationship with that person. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to have to right now you're almost 34 years old. You're going to have to make those changes, and sometimes it's bittersweet. Sometimes it's so hard to just be like, gosh, I got to change that. Like I got to. I can't keep doing that. After I read that book about me not completing anything, I make it my business to complete everything. Everything I do, sometimes I'll start to stop doing it, and then I'll be like, nope, I got to keep doing it. And so I will keep doing it. And I notice my mom does that too. She came here for 6 weeks, and she started a whole bunch of projects, and she ain't finished. We're remodeling. We bought this house in April of this year. And so this house had a lot of remodeling to do. She'd start stuff, and I'd have to go back and finish it because she didn't. So I'm going to say I got a majority of that from my mom. It only makes sense. But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was bounced. I'm in foster care. I'm bounced from house to house, back to my foster mom's house, over to group homes. And so what it does is it causes you to start relationships and start things and not complete them. As we get older, we have to become aware of it. And then once we're aware of it, we have to fix it. We have to change it.
Yeah.
So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to decide what kind of man are you looking for? What kind of man do you want? The kind of man I want may not necessarily be the kind of man you want. I got the kind of man I want. he's
Right.
looking for something to watch, because I'm sure he's probably trying to find a movie. I love to watch movies. Now, I used to hate movies, but
I know.
I used to hate watching
You
movies.
watch a movie with me.
He loves movies, like he loves TV. And what's crazy is when I was little, I never could memorize the actors. I never knew anybody's name. I knew about music because I love music, but like when it came to like movie artists, my sister, the one that's right under me, she'd be all knowing their names and stuff, and I'd be like, how do you know these people? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I could never remember these people's names. So, grow up,
Mhm.
I get married, and lo and behold, if my husband doesn't know all of the actors and actresses' names, all of the music people, I guess if I need to know who's who, I guess I can just ask him. And I do that. I'll be like, who is this person? And he'll be like, oh, that's so and so. I don't remember these people. I don't follow artists.
Right.
I don't really know people like
Right.
that.
I don't either.
Who? Do you know who so and so
Right.
played in what movie? What movie? Show me the movie. I don't know what you're talking about. So
Right.
that's crazy. But that's what you're gonna have to change. And that's the only way you're gonna be able to let go of the past is know what happened in the past and fix that. So if if you argued a lot, what did you argue about? Okay, well, you don't want nobody you're gonna have to argue that about. So if you want somebody who spends time with you, you're definitely not going to want to corporate anybody, because corporate people are constantly busy. They're constantly doing stuff.
Right.
You might want a man that, okay, well, he owns his own business, but even people that own their own business, I have 2 businesses. And I have a life insurance business, I have a photography business. Go figure, right? I have 2 businesses. I know you're thinking, go figure. Because I used to paint stuff. I still paint. I got pictures all over my house where I painted them. Matter of fact, let me see. No. I design, I'm a graphic designer, but I have 2 businesses and I be super duper busy, like super busy. So you might can find somebody that has a lot of time, but in the adult world, we just don't have all the time in the world.
Right.
You're just gonna have to figure that part out. I mean, it's gonna be different from the kind of person that I want and the kind of person that anybody else want, because you have to ask yourself, what are you gonna tolerate? And I mean, I
Right.
know that say that like, a man's gonna have to be in my head eventually. Yeah, well, you're just gonna have to know how to humble yourself and submit yourself when he does come. But until then, you're just like, what kind of man am I looking for? You definitely can't look for no man and don't ask no more mutual friends for referrals.
Yeah. No.
No
None of that
more.
anymore.
No more of that.
No. No. I think right now, like I said, I'm gonna take time and I'm gonna work on me, because there's a lot that, being raised up in foster care, being moved around, being bounced around, everything that I got to be able to work on me and get myself together before I could ever try to bring anybody else into it. And I think, with Tay, it really got to me, because, I was feeling lonely after the ex and everything, but after now, like, talking to you about it and seeing someone that I've known for years, talk to me about it and give me help, advice and everything, it really shows more into what I need to do for myself, and that's what I'm gonna start doing.
Yeah, you are. You're going to have to find what makes you happy. I actually had to learn that. My husband used to tell me that all the time. I wanted him to make me happy. I just wanted him to make me happy, and I'd get so sad, and I'd want him to make me happy. And the sad part about that is it can be so lonely and so miserable when you're waiting for somebody else to make you happy. Hey!
Say hi.
Hey!
That's my baby girl.
That's the 10-year-old, right?
Yes. The 7, almost 8's in the bathroom.
Now you can get your glasses off and you can go to bed.
Yep, it's
Since
bedtime
you
here.
can't fight with your brother, go to bed.
Oh, yep. We don't do that, sister.
Make sure
So-
you take the glasses off.
You're
Hey,
going
good
to
night,
have
I
to
love
like
you.
find. You're gonna have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Always, no matter what.
Always, no matter what.
But the what is going to go behind you if you don't get a bed.
You're gonna have to start somewhere. So you're gonna have to start with.
Sean has to bake.
So honestly, Brandy, monetarily, you're gonna have to find something for you to do. And what do you plan on doing
Yeah.
for that?
Your mother, good night.
Good night.
Right. No. Yeah, I'll let her see you too.
Hey, boo. So what do you plan on doing for that? Like, what goals do you have?
I told you to get in bed.
I'm gonna, like, after this, because Kay is supposed to be over in a little bit,
I told you.
I think I'm just gonna sit down and tell him flat out, look, we can be friends, but I gotta take time to work on
Excuse me.
myself.
I should not be hearing any argument. Get in the bed
So-
right now.
And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit down. I think what I'm gonna do too is, like, I'm gonna get my notebook and write out some stuff that that I want to do different in my life instead of the same old stuff. Like, I want to go back to school. So start trying to figure out ideas. I don't know if I want to do accounting. I don't know. I have my nursing license. I'm an LPN. I just don't want to do nursing anymore.
What? So I added the business center to my photography business because people want to start
Uh-huh.
businesses. So I'm going to tell you this. There's people called home health aides, and they
Mhm.
get people, they get older people that they can take care of. It's their own business. They don't work for an agency to go inside of these people's homes. They really
Mhm.
control their own schedule. In a sense where somebody might need their meds at a certain time, but they go over there, they get the medication, they walk out. That's
Mhm.
something you might be able to get into because you'll be able to control your schedule. You'll be able to control how much money you're bringing in. You'll be able to control and pick your clients. And so
Right.
you have an LPN's license, use it. If you now
Right.
let me back that up. If you want to. Because I
Right.
was a medical assistant and I didn't like being in the med field. I was customer service management for a long time. And in 2015, I decided I don't want to work for nobody. I have not worked outside of my house except
Mhm.
substituting, but that's nothing. I get to pick whenever I want to do. So that's nothing.
Right.
Do that. And even if you have to work for yourself, do that. If you want to work, do you like customer service work?
It's all right. I like being around people.
No, I mean
I've
like
always
on the
liked people
phone,
work.
customer service work.
I'm still dealing with people. I mean, you get some of those that are negative and yell and everything, but I'm like, okay, I'll handle it this way,
Okay, the reason I said that is there's a company called WorkingSolutions.com. I worked
Okay.
for them before, and they have all kinds of different accounts. You sign up and you pick what account you want to work on. Some of
Okay.
it's data. Some of there's one account I know. I think they have. I try to keep in touch because I try to refer them out to people. But you
Mhm.
can like refer insurance people, like people calling about insurance. You can get them in contact with an agent. It's really super easy. You get paid by the amount of time that you're on the phone. But it's like if you do the math, it's like 25
Mhm.
cents a minute. Some of them are like 20 cents a minute. Some of them are like 25 cents a minute. Some of them
Mhm.
pay by the hour, but there's a whole bunch of different contracts, and you can work from home. You can pick your hours. You can go in and just, select your own hours. You don't have to feel obligated to be like, well, you're going to work a 9 to 5 today. If you have to take care of your kid, you can go to work in your
Mhm.
PJs. I've sat there and folded laundry before while I was on the phone with them. It's really easy. It depends on if that's the stuff that you like to do, though. I'll tell you this, don't do anything that you don't like to do.
Right.
Just don't. You're never going to put your whole heart into it. And if you want your own business, you know, you could, it's a 1099, so technically it's considered contract work. So it's kind of your own business in a way. But when it's come to like home health aides, if you like nursing, check into that. Look around for home health aides. Even if you do want to work for an agency, check around for that, because they have home health aides who literally go into people's homes. That's what they do.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do. Now, if that's not what you want to do, then don't do that. Be thinking about those things of what it is that you really want to do. But you do need, if you want to be self-sufficient, you are going to have a form of finances to be able to take care of yourself and your children. Eventually, you're going to want a home. You're going to want a vehicle. And those things can be rather, they sound far-fetched, but it can happen one day at a time. And it will happen. You just have to put your goals in and make your goals reasonable. Don't be like, I want to make $100,000 this year, and that's not reasonable. No, that's not reasonable.
Right.
Now, you want to do like me and get your life insurance license. You can at least start out in an entry level making about $48,000 a year. That's up to you. You could do that. That's super easy to do. I got my license in 11 days, and I can pull in about $4,000 a month on a good month.
Oh. Well, I might have to invest in that.
Oh yeah, all you gotta do is call. Look, I hire people. I hire people in Missouri. I got somebody in California. I got one in Massachusetts. I get a couple of them in Florida, and I hired another one in Palaca the other day.
Well, I might have to talk to you about that.
All you gotta do is pay $50 to go to school, to go to the class, and as soon as you're ready to take the license, you pay the state of Missouri the license fee. That's it. That's easy.
Okay.
But I will tell you, you do have to make an investment, which is paying for that stuff.
Right.
But never make an investment that's not going to bring you back money. Never make an investment that's going to bring back money. I'm probably going to be coming to Missouri in March, unless they lock down the planes. If they're locking down planes, I can't go nowhere. But if they don't, then I'll be in Missouri, and I'll make sure to come to Marshall just for you.
I would love that.
My mom lives in Warrensburg.
Oh, okay.
That's like, what, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Or less?
Yeah.
But, yeah, you could definitely do that. You know, make goals. Make goals that are reasonable. And don't worry about, right now, you don't have to worry about no man, especially not no man that can't take care of you, because they're not, all they're going to do is bring, and the man has depression. He can't even handle his own problems. He got depression. A man that has depression cannot control his feelings, and that makes me wonder what relationship he has with his father.
Right.
That makes me wonder. Yeah, I wanted to be a psychologist too, but nah, I'm good. I'm good. So look, that really about covers it. Do you have any more like questions or anything?
No.
No? I enjoyed my conversation with you.
Me too.
So look, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So look, y'all, that's gonna about cover it. If you have not done so already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit the like and share this video with family friends. Make sure that when you subscribe, you do hit the notification bell and select all, so that you do not miss any of the material that we drop. We drop material every day. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you, Brandon.